All right, what is going on, guys? UFC Man, I can't talk. Fight night. Bonfim versus Brown has just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight reactions. Now, I didn't end up watching like the first, I think, 4 fights of the night, so I'm just going to kind of go over what I saw online, little clips, and what people were talking about of these fights. Starting off with the first fight of the night, we have Zachary Reese versus Jackson McVeigh. Originally, this was supposed to be McVeigh. Who was he supposed to fight? I can't remember who he was supposed to fight originally. But that opponent dropped out. Then he got another replacement. Then that opponent dropped out. Then Zachary Reese took this on like a few days' notice. I believe they did it at a catch weight of 195 pounds. My initial prediction was Zachary Reese, I think, first round KO. And I said if it was going to go to decision, I probably thought he was going to lose. Reese ends up getting the submission in the second round. Like I said, I didn't see the fight. I should have pulled up the scorecard though, because obviously they scored the first round, which I think, if I remember correctly, with the stuff I saw online, I think Reese was winning. I think he won that first round. Let's scroll all the way down here. Pew. Oops, I went way too far. Almost. Nope, McVeigh. All 3 judges had the first round for McVeigh. I was wrong. Moving on. Miles Johns versus Daniel Marcos. I think I went Daniel Marcos to get it done via decision was my initial prediction. Ends up getting the sub in the second round. Towards the tail end of that second round, again, I didn't watch this fight. I'm trying to see if that's the prediction I did. I'm pulling up Tapology on my phone. Yep, I had Marcos decision. Sub's even better. I started watching like halfway through this fight here. Got this fight 100% correct. We had Tisha Pennington versus Denise Gomes. Gomes just outdid Tisha Pennington essentially all 3 rounds. Outstruck her, outlanded her. These fight stats are totally wrong. But Pennington just couldn't get anything going. From what I could see, again, like I said, I watched the 3rd round and like half of the 2nd round. So I'm assuming the first probably went about the same. Honestly, I really didn't give a shit to watch this fight. But I did, unfortunately. Moving up the card. Oops, nope, did I click into that? No, I did not. We have Josh Hockett versus Max Gimmons, I think. My prediction was Josh Hockett to get it done via first round KO. He did indeed do that. Not much to say about this fight. It ended really quickly. Within a minute of the first round, Hockett eats like, I think, 1 or 2 nasty leg kicks from Max. So he landed those nice kicks and then just starts bum rushing him, clips him, drops him. I think one of the shots he threw almost looked like it was to the back of the head when Max was kind of turning away from Hockett, but ended up dropping Hockett. He wasn't out cold or anything. It was more of a TKO. Or dropping Max, not dropping Hockett. I think I said that backwards. But what does this really mean? This win doesn't really mean anything for Josh Hockett. Everybody expected him to go out there and go through Max Gimmons pretty easily. I do not like his... He's trying to be Chael Sonnen. He's trying to be Conor McGregor. He's trying to be Colby Covington. He's trying to be a mixture of the 3. I think it's kind of corny. It's kind of cheesy. I don't really care for it. But if he keeps continuing to perform like that and get finishes like that, would it be fun to watch him? Yes. Now, on the mic afterwards, calls out Walter Walker. I think that's a terrible call out for him to make. I think he would absolutely lose that fight. I think he would get heel hooked in the first round by Walter Walker, and Walter Walker wants to fight him. I say, you know what? Go ahead and make the fight. They cut Hamdi Abdelhib from the UFC. Go ahead and make that fight. Do Josh Hockett versus Walter Walker and get Walter Walker another heel hook in that first round. That would be funny. That would be hilarious. That would be amazing to watch. Or Josh Hockett can prove us all wrong and go out there and finish Walter Walker. Moving up the card. This was a hard watch. This was like Man, we have Mayra Bueno Silva versus Jacqueline Cavalcante. Cavalcante gets it done via unanimous decision. Goes out there and just busts up Mayra Bueno Silva. Consistently landing good shots. Silva really throughout the whole fight did not find a whole lot of success. Not much success at all. And towards the end of I think it was I can't remember if it was the second half of the second round or if it was in the third round. Cavalcante busted up Silva's, I think it was her left eye, and had it starting to swell up, kind of like up in here. It was swelling up pretty bad. It seems like Mayra Bueno Silva is always getting busted up, always getting something going on with her eyes or her face or something swelling. But she's borderline about to be cut, honestly. I think she's on a 4 or 5 fight losing streak right now because they had that no contest, which was originally a win over Holly Holm, turned into a no contest because she popped for some drug or some, I can't remember what it was. But she's, not that long ago, she fought for a belt versus Raquel Pennington. This is the women's bantamweight division. Now, I'll give Jacqueline Cavalcante her props. She did do good as far as, Silva, again, like I said before, Silva didn't really have any success in this fight. And she did good by evading all of the attacks from Silva and essentially complete domination, if you will. But women's bantamweight's probably the least stacked division, probably the worst division. Even like the top 5's kind of weak. I think Pennington's in the top 5. You have Pena. Yeah. Rushing forward. Like, no. Moving up the card. This was a good fight. We have Ricky Simón versus Hani Barcelos. I got this wrong. I had Ricky Simón first round KO. That was my official prediction. Hani Barcelos gets it done. 29-28 unanimous decision. Ricky Simón wins the first round. First round was super competitive. Super fun. Super action-packed. Back and forth. Both guys landing great shots. But Simón just kind of eked it out, in my opinion. I think he just landed a few more cleaner, better strikes over Hani Barcelos. And in the second and the third round, Barcelos is just touching Ricky Simón up. He didn't... In the first round, Barcelos landed like a few really good uppercuts in a row. I don't think he landed them as much as he did in the first round, in the second and third. But just moving forward on Ricky Simón, imposing his will, landing good shots. Most of the grappling, Simón couldn't get a takedown on Barcelos. Barcelos was able to get Ricky Simón down, but Simón would get right back up to his feet. Very fun, very exciting fight to watch overall. But I really thought Ricky Simón was going to go out there and get a KO, if not beat Hani Barcelos. And it's crazy as it is, I think he's like 38 years old. I say give him a ranked opponent. I'm going to make a Fights to Make video after this one. Give Hani Barcelos a ranked opponent. They're giving Peyton Talbot Henry Cejudo because they want him ranked. They want Peyton Talbot ranked. They like, for whatever reason, that UFC likes Peyton Talbot. Hani Barcelos just beat him like 2 fights ago. So they're not going to make that rematch, but that would be hilarious if they did, and then Hani Barcelos beat him again and then got ranked. But nonetheless, I think he deserves a ranked opponent. It's probably not going to pull it up fast enough. I can pull it up on my phone, though. Picks. Let's see. Because I don't remember. I know Talbot was one of them. But I want to see who else he's on this streak. I think it's a 4 or 5 win streak. Ricky Simón, that's a solid win. It's a great win, honestly. Like Ricky Simón, former top 15 fighter, on a good win streak himself. I think he was on a 2 or 3 fight win streak before that. He was on a 2 fight win streak. Jeva Bashrat, really good win. Cameron Smotherman, doesn't really mean anything. Before that, Cody Garbrandt. That's a solid win. I know Garbrandt, not what he used to be, but he's a former champion. Great win over a former champion. Before that, Peyton Talbot. Up-and-coming prospect. He fraud-checked Peyton Talbot. Before that, Kristen Quinones, that doesn't really mean anything. But Tyler Marcellus has been active this year. 3 fights in 2025. Won all of them by unanimous decision. Only losses, he's losing to Kyler Phillips, Umar Nurmagomedov. Victor Henry is a bad loss. Timur Valiev, that's kind of a bad loss to have. But, you can have a couple fluke losses. Ricky Simone, was it Marab? Who was it that knocked him out? Someone knocked him out. Uriah Faber knocked him out. Nonetheless, we got to give Jaime Barcelos a ranked opponent next. I think he earned it. Give the old man his shot. Moving up the card, we had Hyder Emil versus Jamal Emmers. This was also a fun and exciting fight to watch. I had Emmers by decision. That was my official prediction for this one. First round, pretty competitive round. It was honestly kind of hard to pick. I think the judges scored the first round for Hyder Emil. I think it was 29-28 across the scorecards for Jamal Emmers. Very close first round. I've seen people online giving the first round to Emmers. I've seen people online giving it to Hyder Emil. I think it's a 50-50 coin flip. You pick whoever. I wouldn't argue with any of the two if you picked it. I think I scored it barely for Hyder Emil that first round. Second and third round, Jamal Emmers, especially that third round, Jamal Emmers imposing his will on Hyder Emil. That is normally what Hyder Emil would do to his opponents. Pressure, move forward. That's what Jamal Emmers was doing in this one. Second, third round, tagging Hyder Emil up on the feet. And the third round pushed the pace with the grappling and the control time. I think they said like 8 or 10 minutes of control time for Jamal Emmers, somewhere in there, over the whole fight. So, solid win from Jamal Emmers. Where does he go from here? I don't know. I think he needs a couple more wins before we can start talking about a ranked opponent. But overall, really showed improvements in his grappling game, especially, like I said, in that third round. Was able to do some really good ground and pound on the ground. Kept going for these head and arm chokes. He would go for them constantly, go for the arm triangle in that third round. Wasn't able to fully secure it. I thought there were a couple of times where he was going to get the arm triangle, but he didn't. Wasn't able to get it. But very dominant third round. Borderline 10-8. That's what I was kind of thinking when I was watching. Like, are they going to give it 10-8? Because he had a lot of control time. He was going for a lot of submissions. He was doing some good ground and pound. But they didn't. Great fight, though. Moving up the card. Opening up the main card. This is where I got this one wrong. We have Christian Leroy Duncan versus Marco Tulio. I thought Marco Tulio was going to go out there and get it done. Did I do first round KO? I said second round KO. Or no. Yeah, I did. I picked Marco Tulio second round KO. He ends up getting KO'd in the second round. My initial breakdown of this fight, I wanted to pick Christian Leroy Duncan. He's always doing these techniques, these crazy techniques. He's always getting finishes like that, or starting finishing sequences with these techniques. And that's what started the finish in this fight. First round, let's go to the first round, though. First round, Duncan coming out crazy. Flashy, going forward, throwing crazy techniques, crazy stuff. Trying to think. I think he had a little bit of control time. Or it might have been Tulio. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but they had a little bit of control, maybe about a minute of control time up against the cage in that first round. But the first round I had to give to Christian Leroy Duncan just over forward pressure, the damage of the strikes that he landed, and the effectiveness in which he was using those strikes. So the first round I had for Christian Leroy Duncan. I think he might have had the control time. That might have also been a factor. Second round, doing the same type of stuff he was doing in the first round, looking really good, going for some, landing some good shots, going for a few crazy techniques, if you will. And then, was it a spinning back fist that started the KO over Marco Tulio? Marco Tulio gets dropped, gets knocked out, and Christian Leroy Duncan follows up with, I think it was a right hand maybe, before Mark Smith jumps in there. Really unnecessary KO. He was out. He was out cold. What are you going to do? I don't know. Nothing you can do. They got to keep going until the ref pulls them off. But solid win from Christian Leroy Duncan. In hindsight, I wished I wouldn't have switched my pick. It seems like every time I switch my pick, I get it wrong. Moving up the card. One I didn't get wrong, even though he was the underdog. We have Chris Padilla versus Ismail Bonfim. This fight was, as this fight was going on, I thought, man, did I pick the wrong guy? Like, because my gut reaction when this was, I was like, Chris Padilla. Like, Ismail Bonfim took Vince Pichel to a decision. Okay? Didn't finish Vince Pichel. Like, you got to finish Vince Pichel. If you're going to do anything in the lightweight division, you have to finish him if you fight him. If you're going to be, big in the lightweight division. First round, Padilla slamming kicks on Bonfim, Ismail Bonfim's left leg, just slamming kicks over and over and over again. But Ismail just cracking Chris Padilla. Padilla keeping a high and tight guard, but he's just smacking him. He's just, ripping the body, ripping upstairs. A lot of it's hitting the arms and the guard of Chris Padilla, but he's still landing really good shots. Not throwing a whole lot of kicks of his own, but Padilla still, pumping up the jab, the 1-2, and just slamming those kicks over and over again. But Ismail Bonfim did, I would say, enough damage in that first round to take the first round. Didn't really, I don't think either guy went for takedowns in the first round at all. Second round, it's looking more of the same. Chris keeping a high and tight guard, pump 1-1-2, throwing the leg kicks, landing good leg kicks, chopping Ismail Bonfim's leg. And then eventually, you can kind of see the tide is changing. Chris Padilla, forward pressure more, landing better. Bonfim not throwing as much, backing up more. And eventually, Chris Padilla hurts Ismail Bonfim, gets him down. There was, in that type, finishing sequence area, I think he hurt him with was it a knee or a kick to the body? Hurt him to the body, kind of dropped him, he got down. I thought he should have waved him up. He's going for takedowns. Obviously he got the finish. But if he didn't get the finish, he should have waved him or immediately back up and then, went on trying to get the finish. He got it, so it didn't matter. But I was screaming what are you doing? He's injured. There's so many times where fighters will have some hurt to the body or they'll be wobbled and then they shoot a takedown. Absolutely makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Worked for him in this instance. Might not in the next. But, got the TKO finish. Kind of a anticlimactic ending to the fight. Bonfim was done. Ismail Bonfim was done. But it was just very anticlimactic. Not super hard ground and pound to finish the fight out. But nonetheless, good fight. Get Chris Padilla's 50K. Get his mom out the trailer park. That's all I'm saying. Moving up the card. Whoa. That's funky. The featured fight, we have Muslim Salihov versus Uros Medic. Not much to say about this fight. I got this one wrong. I think what I had first round KO. Yeah, I had first round KO for Muslim Salihov. Muslim Salihov ends up getting KO'd in the first round. Not much to say about this one. I think it was because Muslim Salihov is good. He's got good power. Medic has some good power. I think it was the speed of Uros Medic and the power obviously is what did it. Muslim Salihov really didn't get anything off. The striking stats here, I would probably be inclined to believe them. They didn't throw a whole lot of strikes. Medic threw most of them. I think, Salihov, he probably only landed 2 or 3 strikes total in that fight. Gets clipped, gets sat down by Medic, and ground and pound finished. Again, not much to say. Absolutely, pretty much no resistance from Muslim Salihov. Now, this is perfect. I want to see Muslim Salihov versus Stephen Thompson. They're both old. They're both 41, 42. I think Thompson's 42. Muslim Salihov's 41 or 40. I can't remember exactly. They're both on losing streaks. Obviously, Salihov's only on 1 fight losing streak. Wonder Boy, I think he's on a 2 or 3 fight losing streak. Make the fight. The fans want to see it. It would be a fun fight. Nothing to say. For Medic, he's not fighting Salihov's probably the best fighter he's beaten recently. Let's see. I know he's only on a 2-fight win streak. Muslim Salihov, Gilbert Urbina, beat Tim Means, lost to Oral by, beat some. Yeah, he doesn't have. He's not on a big win streak. He still needs a few more fights before he can fight a ranked opponent. Not that long ago, he got knocked out by Puliani Soriano. So, but nonetheless, good finish from a good opponent for Uros Medic. Moving on, the co-main event. That's really weird. I guess we'll just do that. Maybe we can refresh it and it'll... Nope, it won't. Okay. Let's make sure this is still... Yep, it's still there. Alright. Sometimes the UFC's website. So we have Joseph Morales versus Matt Schnell. Co-main event. I got this right. I got submission right. I didn't get the submission right. I thought while they were still dry, not super sweaty, I thought Morales was going to go out there, get the back. If I remember correctly, I think I picked rear naked choke, first round finish for Joseph Morales. Ends up being a guillotine choke. Exchange a little bit on the feet. Schnell was able to get Morales down. They, do a bunch of scrambling. Morales is eventually able to get Matt Schnell in a crucifix position. Matt Schnell then gets out of it. The way he gets out of it, puts himself vulnerable to a guillotine choke, gets put in it, and taps out. Great, that's a good win. Gatekeeper top 15, if you will, Matt Schnell, that is. So very solid win from Joseph Morales. I know he doesn't have a chin, but still, nonetheless, to go out there. Matt Schnell's pretty well-rounded everywhere. He's got decent jiu-jitsu, decent striking, just zero chin. But yeah, solid win for Morales. Again, not much else to say about it, honestly. Moving up the card to the main event. I'm very, 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 very disappointed in the main event. I wanted Randy Brown to win. I do not like the Bonfim brothers. I hate them. I don't like them. They're annoying as fuck. I don't like them. Simple as that. First round, Gabriel Bonfim just slant again. The reverse. What happened in his brother's fight happened in this one. He was slamming the leg kicks into Randy Brown over and over and over again in that first round. Just slamming that leg kicks into the lead leg of Randy, if I can spit it out, of Randy Brown. Brown didn't really land too much in that first round. He didn't throw a whole lot either. I don't think these striking stats are all that accurate. They could be closely accurate. But most of the strikes from Gabriel in that first round were leg strikes. He didn't land a whole lot upstairs. It was mostly to the lead leg of Randy Brown. Those were some good leg kicks, though. I will say they were good leg kicks. Really no grappling was initiated much at all in the fight. And then in the second round, it's kind of more of the same. Randy Brown being a little bit more aggressive in the second. Obviously, he just lost the first round. And he's probably thinking, man, my leg's getting busted up. My leg's getting beat up. I don't think I can go all 5 rounds. I'm going to push the pace, the pressure, and try to get this finish here quickly. They ended up in like a weird clinch situation, and Bonfim landed a knee on the chin of Randy Brown, put him out. As Randy Brown hits the canvas, he wakes back up, but Mark Smith already stopped the fight. Immediately, Randy Brown's protesting it. I think it was a fine stoppage. Could you see it as a little bit early? Yes. It was a flash knockout. He was knocked out. Woke back up immediately, ready to defend himself. But if Mark Smith wouldn't have stopped it, I think Gabriel Bonfim would have finished him anyway with ground and pound. I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the fight at all. It sucks, though. I really wanted both Bonfim brothers to lose. And I really, truly did. As much as I want Gabriel Bonfim to lose, I really did think Randy Brown was going to win. Just based off that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight that they had, it was a super competitive fight that I thought Wonderboy won. Going into this one, I'm like, well, if Randy Brown and Wonderboy fought, I'd probably pick Randy Brown right now, just based off the age of Wonderboy and his last few performances. I thought he was going to win this fight, I really did. But he didn't. What can you say? I don't know. Gabriel Bonfim calls out Colby Covington. Colby will never take that fight. As much as I want Gabriel Bonfim to lose, Colby, that's a free win. If you get Colby Gilbert Burns. Those are essentially free wins for Gabriel Bonfim if they're trying to give him some name value person. I think Colby probably just needs to retire and be done, or they take him out of the rankings because I think he's currently ranked. We're done here, so let's go look at the rankings real quick. I think Colby's currently ranked like top 10. Yeah, he's number 10. Get him out of there. Him and Gilbert Burns, they gotta go. Get him out of there. They're on big losing streaks. But free win for Gabriel Bonfim if he could fight Colby Covington. But Colby will never take that fight. Nonetheless, what did you guys think of this event? Did you enjoy it? What did you think of the main event? Who do you think Gabriel Bonfim should fight next? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure to drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.